Wow, 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 man. AEW Dynamite put on a great show tonight. This week's episode of Dynamite was better than this week's episode of AEW Dark and Elevation. This was one of the best Dynamites we haven't gotten in a long time. I really enjoyed this show, man. I wish more of my audience would have been in the live chat for my AEW Dynamite Grand Slam watch along. Obviously, that didn't happen. I was kind of upset about that. I ain't gonna lie to you. But we are live for the AEW Dynamite Grand Slam 2022 review. I'm IWN. If you guys are new, subscribe, turn on that bell for all notifications, man. What you waiting for, man? Hit that thumbs up. Let's get at least 5 likes in the live chat, minimum. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't done so yet. You can follow me or add me on Facebook, and you can add me on Snapchat. Unfortunately, you can't follow me on Twitter because all my Twitter accounts are suspended. Fuck Twitter. I don't need Twitter. Fuck it. Fuck it. It's nothing. Twitter, the Twitter IWC community nowadays is nothing but full of ignorant idiots. I don't need Twitter. Forget it. Forget about it. Forget about Twitter, man. I used to share, and you know what? It's funny that they suspend my Twitter accounts because the only reason why they did it was because I cussed out and shitted on the WWE stains and the fans and community for shitting all over AEW and Tony Khan. Tony Khan is doing the best work of his career, man. I mean, these we got the best Dynamite episode this week, man. I mean, imagine how even more great Full Gear is going to be coming in November. Rampage is right before. Well, Rampage is right before Full Gear. Rampage is on November the 18th. Full Gear is on November the 19th. And I got a lot. That means I got a lot of thumbnails and a lot of backgrounds to fucking make and do and get done. And that includes my Survivor Series thumbnail and background that I have to do. I got to schedule my Survivor Series watch along, my Extreme Rules watch along, my Halloween Havoc watch along. I got a lot of fucking watch alongs I got to schedule at the end of this month. I'm going to be pretty busy. And I still work every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So that's a busy week for me, man. Uploading content, streaming content, working to get money, man. You know, that's a lot. That's a lot, man. I just want to thank you guys for the overwhelming support that you've given me in my channel. Keep on supporting me, man. I really appreciate it. We are on the road to 500 subscribers. We are close to 500 subscribers. So, again, if you're new, subscribe, please. I would happily appreciate it. And keep on supporting the channel in any way you can, because your support is really, really helping me out a lot. Now, we're going to cut the music off. Now that I've got my introduction done, we're going to go ahead and begin the AEW Dynamite Grand Slam 2022 review here. So, AEW All Elite Wrestling returned to Queens in the historic Arthur Ashe Stadium, a home of the U.S. Open, for another Grand Slam episode of Dynamite, headlined by the coronation of a new world champion. Oh, and by the way, I appreciate your generous, kind comments, Cam Man. Thank you. I needed that. But anyways, Grand Slam was in Queens, New York, and they loaded a hell of a fucking match card for that show. So the 2022 edition of Dynamite Grand Slam kicked off with Chris Jericho challenging for the Ring of Honor World Championship for the first time. So the Ring of Honor champion, Claudio, or should I say former Ring of Honor champion, Claudio Castagnoli, sought to ensure his first opportunity would be a failed one. A hard-fought, red-hot match so the title holder focused his attack on Jericho's midsection. So pretty much, while the future of Hall of Famer worked on the defensive, pretty much. So carrying his opponent's offense and playing up the idea that, he pretty much had the champion scouted. In the end, though, it was a cheap low blow by the Wizard and a Judas effect that added yet another world title to Jericho's sparkling resume. The match was good, but not great at the same time, with an outcome that was more eyebrow-raising than intriguing for a number of reasons. This definitely felt less like a long-term plan for the future of Ring of Honor than an excuse to pad Jericho's resume. Now, which is absurd given how extraordinary it already is. He is a legend, an icon. But, he probably wins far more than he should in AEW, which I'd say it's probably about true. A win here could have really cemented Castagnoli's reign as champion. Instead, he loses. He loses the belt in a tainted fashion, further diminishing the momentum he had coming off his debut and before he somewhat faded in the background. Wanted to make sure my mic was on because sometimes I forget to cut it on. Sometimes I don't. I got to start having it on all the time. Every time when I go live, when I start playing the background music, that's when it seems like I have my mic off. I don't want to be feeling embarrassed again. But anyways, great match between Jericho. Jericho defeated Castagnoli to win the Ring of Honor World Championship. Aubrey Edwards became the first woman to referee a Ring of Honor World title match. Even though I think the Ring of Honor titles should not be on AEW, they should be on Ring of Honor television. Now, Jericho declined the Code of Honor initially before accepting Castagnoli's handshake, only to slap him in the face. So Castagnoli countered a Hurricane Rana from the ropes initially, but Jericho adjusted. He adjusted and executed the move away. Jericho countered the springboarding champion with a code breaker for 2. Castagnoli fought out of the walls of Jericho, stumped his opponent's face, and delivered the big swing. So that was pretty much it there. So then we got an AEW World Tag Team Championship match, the Acclaimed versus Swerve In Our Glory. Arguably the most anticipated match of the show. So Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee defend their AEW World Tag Team Championships against the Acclaimed's Matt Caster and Anthony Bowens. And you notice I have my headsets on I have my headsets on legitimately just like Matt Caster. I know. I don't know why. I guess that's just my character. That's just my YouTube channel character. I know. The champions looked the part early and often, working over Caster until a hot tag to Bowens sparked a. Oh, and by the way, these are actually using or streaming on the PS4. anyways, the rolled down from there. And just it. I guess the former. The from inside. At some point, one of them turning. To the Acclaimed, realize their potential fan pleasing moment. Now, it is still pretty much benefited. It's benefited and potentially by an audience more than, ready to see the goal. Hell, the Acclaim should have been in AEW World Tag Team Championships a long time ago. They should have been champions a long time ago. Hell, matter of fact, they should have been AEW World Tag Team Champions last year. If you ask me. I mean, clearly they deserve those titles. They worked hard to get up to the top. And now look at them. Now they're the new AEW World Tag Team Champions. Now they remain into the match as it stumbled somewhat down the stretch. With that said, this was the one outcome Tony Khan needed to execute on this show or risk a considerable backlash. He did the right thing, and now Caster and Bowens stand on top of the tag team mountain now. The first homegrown tandem to hold the gold in the company. Now, you want to talk about top moments. Man, the heat for Swerve and Lee was enormous. Wow, the pop for the challengers was as loud as one would expect given recent trends. Now, Caster overcame a considerable beating by the heels throughout the commercial to make the hot tag to Bowens. Bowens powered Swerve up out of a roll-up and into a buckle bomb. So Lee missed a middle rope moonsault to drive the air out of him. I was about to say audience again. Caster came off the top rope and immediately nursed what appeared to be a knee injury. He moved quickly on it to get to the finish, but was immediately in pain on it after the bell. So we got this AEW All-Atlantic Championship match between Pac and Orange Cassidy. We got Pac versus Orange Cassidy. So this was a good match as well. We got the Ring of Honor Pure Champion, Wheeler Yuta, joined Tony Schiavone on the stage for a promo that was promptly and thankfully interrupted by MJF. The Salt of the Earth healed him on him. Jon Moxley and William Regal before a brawl ensued. The arrival of W. Morrissey allowed MJF to get the best of Yuta and intensify his rivalry with Blackpool Combat Club. Back in the Squirrel Circle, Pac defended his AEW All-Atlantic Championship against a familiar foe, Orange Cassidy. The bastard focused relentlessly on the head and neck of his opponent. He punished Cassidy unfazed by the shenanigans or mannerisms that are a trademark of Freshly Squeezed's act. With Cassidy building momentum, desperation set in, and Pac blasted his challenger with the Timekeeper's hammer and scored the talented win. This was nowhere near as good as the Revolution 2020 match, but told the story it set out to. With Pac once again underestimating Cassidy, only to have a resort to cheating to score the win. For a guy that was supposed to be so underneath him, Pac sure came close to losing the gold before cheating to preserve his reign. Telling that story, though, only really works if Cassidy eventually beats Pac. Now, that has yet to happen. Some will argue that AEW is playing the long game, and maybe so, but Cassidy loses too many of these big title matches. Eventually, his involvement will mean a lot, no matter how many times he shows up and shows out. So you want to talk about top moments? Give it up for Wheeler Yuta. You have evolved from dry paint to pet rock personality. MJF said of Yuta. A brawl between MJF and Yuta ensued, ending with Big Cass, known as W. Morrissey, getting involved. The number one contender and his newly hired muscle stood tall as security ushered them away. Backstage, Jade Cargill and the baddies were interrupted by DeMonte, who produced rapper Trina to be in her corner at Rampage. Earlier in the promo, Cargill said she would challenge for main women's title on her own time. As Pac scaled the ropes and teased the Black Arrow, Cassidy got up his feet, taunting the champion from his back on the mat. Pac folded himself up, selling the effects of 2 straight DDTs. And great near fall off the orange punch by Cassidy, broken up by the champion, grappling the bottom rope to hold the referee's count. Then we got this interim women's title match. We got Toni Storm versus Athena versus Serena Deeb versus Britt Baker. Now, this may be one of the worst matches on the AEW Dynamite Grand Slam card. So Athena, Serena Deeb, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, challenged Toni Storm for the AEW Women's Championship. So none were able to do so, despite a back-and-forth match that saw Deeb shine as she pretty much out-wrestled her opponent and nearly scored pinfalls or submissions on numerous occasions. Storm entered the victory over Britt Baker with a crucifix roll-up. After the match, Jamie Hayter joined Baker and Deeb in beating down Storm and Athena until Saraya, formerly Paige, formerly known as Paige in WWE, made her debut and cleared the ring without ever throwing a punch. There are 2 ways to look at this development. The pop for Saraya's debut was enormous, and many, this riot included, are longtime fans that want to see her have another opportunity set foot inside the ring. Inside the squared circle. On the other hand, the women's roster is loaded with talent that is already underutilized and struggling to receive the television time reflective of their abilities. Ruby Soho is, among others, a prime example, bringing yet another competitor in rather than better highlighting those AEW already has on its roster will surely earn criticism. Indeed. How and if management leans or learns from its prior creative struggles in terms of this division will determine whether this was a landscape-changing signing or another prize added to the collection. Storm retained her AEW Interim Women's Championship over Baker, Athena, and Deeb to retain her title. Athena brought all 3 opponents off the top rope in an electric chair spot that has become a bit too relied up in those multi-competitor matches over the years. The pop for Saraya was huge and much needed given Hayter's reunion with Baker moments earlier. Essentially erased everything that had built in a split between the two, at least for the time being. So then we got the main event of AEW Dynamite Grand Slam. We got the Tournament of Champions finals for the AEW World Championship. Got Jon Moxley, a 3-time world champion, versus 6-time world champion Daniel Bryan for the AEW World Championship. With the All Elite Wrestling World title at stake, the Blackpool Combat Club's Jon Moxley and Daniel Bryan battled in the main event of this year's Grand Slam special episode. The match was a grueling physical encounter that saw Danielson attempt to pick apart the body of his opponent, refusing to focus his attack on a single body part. Moxley responded, showing his trademark toughness as he battled back against his more traditional technical opponent. Later, the American Dragon enjoyed one last gasp opportunity to score the win by way of a Bruseku knee and a label lock. Moxley gritted through it, delivered a Death Rider on the entrance ramp, and put his BBC teammate out with the Bulldog choke to become world champion once again. My mouth feels dry like a motherfucker. I need something to drink real bad. The win makes Moxley the first AEW star to win the company's world title on 3 separate occasions. There was no interim label slapped on this one, nor should there have been. Moxley, appreciate his in-ring style or not, has been backbone of the roster for the last year. He has been as reliable as anyone and embodied that us versus the world mentality that helped make AEW possible in the first place. Clearly, he won the AEW World Championship, so that means both the AEW World Championship and the AEW Interim World Championships were unified. They just didn't tell you that. They should have, but they didn't. Putting the belt on him, again, may not be the most electrifying booking move. It will probably draw criticism from the pro-Danielson crowd. But in the end, one guy has a well-documented history of serious career-altering injuries, and the other does not. Now, AEW badly needs stability at the top of its card, and it has that in Moxley. And soon will as well with MJF. At least until 2024. Dared Danielson to chop him, then backed him into the corner and added a few of his own. During the commercial break, the American Dragon focused on his opponent's shoulder. Moxley kicked out of his opponent's Buseku knee, especially no-sold it, and applied a half Boston Crab. Moments later, cameras caught Moxley scratching and clawing the back of Danielson. Moxley and Danielson in stereo headstands slapped away at each other. Moxley stomped the Achilles of Danielson and delivered the Death Rider, leading to a fantastic near fall. But all you guys need to know is Moxley tapped out Daniel Bryan in that submission. And that gave him the AEW World Championship. That means that Jon Moxley unified both titles. But again, they didn't tell you that, and I don't know why. They should have. They should have told you that. They should have told you that. It didn't make sense for them to not tell us that when they should have on commentary. Commentary should have been saying it. I don't get it. Professional wrestling this year has been good and it's been bad at the same time. WWE needs to work on some things, and AEW themselves as well need to work on some things. The way I'm seeing it. the way I'm looking at it. Anyway. Overall, this week's episode of Dynamite was fantastic. It had some great in there, you know. I think the match that stole the show the most, I'd say Jon Moxley versus Daniel Bryan. And Andy actually mentioned Jon Moxley versus Daniel Bryan in my live chat, AEW Dark Elevation Watch Along, asking me a question about Daniel Bryan and Moxley. He was asking me, are you going for Bryan or Moxley? I said it makes sense for Moxley to win because of two reasons. Number one, he can be AEW World Champion and he can lead the men's division in AEW. And number two, that would have him fight both titles. So I said this. Look, listen, folks. I've said this on one of my streams. I've said this on an AEW Dark Elevation live stream. I said that it only makes sense for Jon Moxley to win just so he can unify both titles and just so he can be the next AEW World Champion to carry the men's division. There's a lot more feuds that we will see Jon Moxley in as AEW World Champion soon. I could see us getting Jon Moxley versus MJF for Full Gear. I think that's where they're going. I don't know yet, but that's my guess. That's my guess. That's my thought process. So, anyways, folks, that's going to do it for the AEW Dynamite Grand Slam 2022 review. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, it's okay. I get it. I know some of you are probably saying I need to work on improving on my reviews and watch-alongs. I'm trying, man. I really am. Like Cam Man says, don't be upset about it. Just keep pushing. And I'm going to keep pushing. That's exactly what I'm going to keep doing. That's what Cam Man said in the chat. See, positive comments like that I can take any day of the week. But if I'm getting negative comments like wrestling is fake, those comments need to get out my chat. Wrestling is fake. Who says that in the live chat? Really? Clearly, wrestling is real and scripted. It's not fake. I mean, I don't know why people are still. I don't know why these trolls are still coming in my live chat with that. Like, get the fuck out of my live chat with that. Wrestling is fake stuff. Seriously. All right, folks. Before I get on the heck out of here, man. Get this music going. Before we get out of here, I got a little bit of AEW WWE Wednesday night news to go over with you guys coming out of AEW Dynamite Grand Slam. We're going to go ahead and start with the news on Tony Khan confirming SARAYA'S AEW signing. Saraya, known as Paige. Her ring name used to be Paige in WWE. I think her ring name is going to be Saraya going forward in AEW. Or maybe Saraya Paige. Who knows? I don't know. But anyways, there is some news on Tony Khan. I mean, it's not really that important, but I just thought I give you guys this news. I just thought I'd give you guys this news because some of you guys legitimately care about AEW like I do. And I give you WWE news because you all care about WWE like I do. You all want WWE and AEW to succeed like I do. You all want the rosters to get better like I do. You all want better shows like I do. I get it. I know. So here's the news on Tony Khan confirming Saray's AEW signing. Turn this music down a little bit. It says here that pretty much that Paige was a top star in the women's division of. Y'all thought I was going to say pop star. No, I wasn't going to say pop star now. I wasn't going to say that. But Paige was a top star in the women's division of WWE until a series of unfortunate injuries derailed her moment. Her momentum, in other words. Paige was forced to retire from active in-ring competition in 2018. She parted ways with WWE in July 2022, which is one of the saddest moments, I think, in history of WWE. Now, tonight she made her AEW debut. Paige made her shocking debut as Saraya after the fatal four-way match for the AEW Interim Women's World Championship between defending champion Toni Storm, Serena Deeb, Athena, and Dr. Britt Baker. Saraya arrived to make the save for Athena and Storm from Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, and Serena Deeb. Tony Khan took to Twitter after Saraya's debut to confirm that she has signed with the promotion. Khan welcomed the former WWE star to AEW roster. So, the tweet says, and I quote, "Welcome to AEW. Saraya is Oli. Thank you to everyone watching AEW Dynamite Grand Slam tonight." End quote. AEW teased a trios tag team match between teams of Paige, Athena, and Toni Storm and Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Serena Deeb during Dynamite Grand Slam tonight. Guess we'll have to wait to find out if that happens. And that looks like that's what it's going to be set up to be. I'm guessing we are getting the AEW Trios Women's Tag Team Championships. I think this is where this is going. I think it might be time for AEW to introduce the Women's Tag Team Champions. I don't know. I don't know if they're introducing the AEW Women's Tag Team Championships or not, but we'll find out. This is probably where this is leading to. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't have that kind of information. So, what is y'all's take on this story? Let me know in the live chat or in the comments below when the stream ends. Now, moving on to the next news. This is very, very important. I have some news on some huge AEW Rampage Grand Slam spoiler results for September the 3rd, 2022. This is important news, so listen up, folks. It says here that AEW produced a solid edition of Dynamite Grand Slam from the Entourage Stadium in New York tonight. Multiple titles changed hands during the show. Paige made her debut as Saraya as well. The company tapped a 2-hour special edition of Rampage Grand Slam immediately following the concussion of Dynamite. Now, this is y'all's official spoiler warning, because I'm about to tell you guys what happened during this week's episode of Rampage. So, if you don't want to hear what happened on this week's episode of Rampage, you guys better click off of this live stream now, because I'm about to tell you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, this week's episode of Rampage will air on September 23rd. And it will deal with the aftermath of Dynamite as well. Matches for Rampage were announced during Dynamite this week. So, here is the card for this week's episode of Rampage Grand Slam. We got Jade Cargill defending her AEW TBS Championship against DeMonte. We got the Golden Ticket Battle Royal. Winner gets a future shot at AEW World Title. Or should I say Jon Moxley's AEW World Title, because, he defeated Daniel Bryan to become the AEW World Champion. Remember? I said that in the review. We got Eddie Kingston versus Sammy Guevara in a singles match. Ray Phoenix versus Jungle Boy in a singles match. We got a lights out match. A lights out match between Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. That's booked for Rampage Grand Slam. We got Action Bronson. I don't know who the hell that is. Action Bronson and Hook versus Angelo Parker and Matt Menard. Sting and Darby Allin versus House of Black. I'm not going to call Matt Menard Fat Slob anymore because he is getting better on commentary. So, Sting and Darby Allin versus House of Black. No disqualification. Tag team match. And it's funny that I say Matt Menard because he is better than all the other commentators on Dark and Elevation. He sounds better than all the other. So then this last match, the main event, I guess in the main event is going to be Wardlow and Samoa Joe versus Toni Nese and Josh Woods because they got it last listed at the bottom. And it says here, and quote, folks, listen up. It says here that Sting and Darby Allin versus Brody King and Buddy Matthews is the opener. The two attack House of Black during their entrance. Sting gets handcuffed, sitting in chair. He is about to get hit by Buddy Matthews with a bat when suddenly the lights go out. The great Muda's music hits and the crowd pops. Muda appears to make the save. Muda. Who's Muda? Who the hell's Muda? I think they meant to say Miro. Or Miru. Maybe Miru. I don't know. I think they meant to say Miru. Or I meant to say Miru. Put it that way. I meant to say Miru. I don't know why I was thinking Mito or Mute. I don't know. So, the great Miru music hits and the crowd pops. Miru appears to make the save. Miru with mist in Buddy Matthews' eyes. Who the fuck is Muda? I don't get that. Muda. That's confusing, man. So Muda with a mist in Buddy Matthews' eyes, causing him to inadvertently hit Julia Hart. I'm guessing. Wait a minute. Makes me wonder if that's Miru. But anyways, Julia Hart got hit, sending her crashing through a table. Sting breaks free from the cuffs, performs a scorpion death drop on Matthews and pinned him for the win. Sting and Muda hug after the match. I'm guessing Muda is Miru. That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing because it is Muda. Why would Ringside News say Muda? Why? Why would they say that? It doesn't sound right. Anyways, Jericho Appreciation Society's Angelo Parker. And Muda is what it says in their article. But anyways, Jericho Appreciation Society's Angelo Parker and Matt Menard take on Hook and Action Bronson in the next match. Bronson wraps them out to the ring. Hook and Bronson win the match with a double red rum. So I'm guessing we're going to be getting yet another new tag team added to the already stacked AEW tag team division. So I'm guessing Hook and Action Bronson are going to be a team. I guess there's no more Hook Hashound, I guess no more of that. So Jay Cargill defends her TBS championship against Devontae in a third match of the night. Jay dominates most of the match and scores the win with her finisher. That's no surprise. Samoa Joe and Wardlow took on Toni Nese and Josh Woods in tag team action. Joe's eyeballs. Whatever the fuck it is, I don't even care. Joe's eyeballs are heavily taped as he makes his entrance. Joe pins Nese, following a muscle buster. Nese and Woods attack Joe. But Wardlow makes the save. Smart Mark Sterling tries to attack Wardlow, but receives a power blow. Tiffany from the TNT champion. So don't forget, AEW Rampage Grand Slam is this Friday night. Alright. AEW Rampage Grand Slam watch along will be live after my Friday Night SmackDown watch along. So I'll be live for both watch-alongs, and I'll be live for Rampage for the first time ever with a Rampage watch-along. So, if you guys have any questions about the story, please let me know in the live chat, as well as your thoughts on the story as well. Now that I am done going over the AEW news, now we are going to move on to the WWE news that I have coming out of Dynamite Grand Slam. There's some news on NXT viewership and news on WWE SVP reviewing recruitment and release protocols for new talent. So first things first, we're going to go over the news on the WWE NXT viewership. Seeing big slump this week. That's the first thing we're going to go. And then the last news we're going to go over is on WWE SVP reviewing recruitment and release protocols for new talent. All right, here we go. So WWE's NXT brand is going through some changes. They brought another episode to the USA Network this week, but how did the viewership turn out? According to WrestleNomics, the September the 20th episode of NXT brought in a overnight average of 608,000 viewers with a 0.5 in the 1849 demographic. This was also a taped show. The 1 year anniversary of NXT 2.0 pulled in 720,000 viewers with a 0.15 in the 1849 demographic on September the 14th. You have to excuse me, folks. Sometimes I get stuff right, sometimes I get stuff wrong. That's how it is. And then when I don't be having nothing to eat besides breakfast and I be feeling agitated, I be stunned and stuff. But just in case you guys didn't know the viewership for NXT for August the 30th, the August 30th episode of NXT 2.0 brought in 676,000 viewers with a 0.15 in the 1849 demographic. So then, NXT's August the 3rd episode brought in 678,000 viewers with a 0.14 in 1849 demographic. The August the 16th Heat Wave special brought in an overnight average of 723,000 with a 0.18 in the treasured 18 to 49 demographic. August the 9th episode of WWE NXT 2.0 brought in 597,000 viewers. I mispronounced that, sorry. With a 0.13 in the 1849 demographic. The August the 2nd edition of WWE NXT 2.0 brought in 649,000 viewers with a 0.15 in the 1849 demographic. There's a lot more that you guys need to hear. The July 26th episode of NXT 2.0 brought in 600,000 viewers with a 0.13 in the COVID 1849 demographic. July the 19th episode of NXT 2.0 brought in 588,000 viewers with a 0.13 in the 1849 demographic. The July 12th edition, same thing. July 12th edition of WWE NXT 2.0 brought in an overnight average of 582,000 viewers with a 0.14 in 1849 demographic. The Great American Bash pulled in 593,000 viewers for the July 5th special. They also ranked in a 0.12 in the COVID at 1849 demographic. June 28th episode of NXT 2.0 brought in an overnight average of 570,000 viewers with a 0.11 in the 1849 demographic. The June 21st episode of NXT 2.0 brought in an overnight average of 637,000 viewers with a .18 and 18 to 49 demo graphic. June the 14th edition of NXT 2.0 brought in an overnight average of 612,000 viewers with a .12 in the 1849 demographic. That's just me being funny, changing my voice, because there's a lot to go over. The June the 7th episode of WWE NXT 2.0 brought a viewership of 657,000 and a .14 in the 1849 demographic. I guess we'll have to see how NXT continues on when it comes to viewership. The NXT 2.0 change obviously hasn't broke any good records. So I hope to see your takes on the story, guys. Let me know in the live chat. Now, the last news I have for this Wednesday night is on the news on WWE SVP revealing recruitment and release protocols for new talent. Now, what the hell is this about? I don't know. We're about to find out when I go over this with you all. So it says here that WWE runs a pretty tight ship when it comes to recruitment and release of talent. Even on their developmental brand NXT, only those talents show up who have gone through rigorous training and evaluation. This news doesn't look familiar to me, and I'm sure this news doesn't look familiar to you all either, listening. Okay, so reports throughout the last few months detail how the company treats its new recruits. What? There are a lot of protocols in place to ensure that the only best of the best move on to become a part of WWE program. WWE SVP James Kimball, I don't know what the fuck that is, don't ask me, I don't know, spoke with WrestleRant about the company's process of recruiting, retaining, and releasing talent. He said that new talent is supposed to survive until 2 years, after which they'll either up or out. Oh, no shit. You know, he is kind of right. It says here, and I quote, this is what he said. It literally is 6-month intervals, 2-year mark, you're up or out. Obviously, there is consistent evaluation down at the Performance Center in Atlanta. Coaching staff, our staff on site all the time, consistently evaluating, but formal deliberate evaluations occur in 6-month period. At that time, and again, these all kind of flow in and around the same kind of entry points. We'll do a tryout and then we'll do a set of releases. And quote, Kimball also pointed out that the talent that makes it to the 2-year mark isn't entirely secure either. If they're not ready for NXT, well then they're also shown the door. The strategy was implemented a year ago, but it yields results. It says, again, and I quote, I would say that it was incorporated around the same time that this entire new strategy was put in place about a year ago. That all kind of dovetails with a NIL program. So heavy emphasis on college athletes, heavy emphasis on pulling a real system in place that replicas and drives itself to where we already know we're going 6 months, 12 months from now already. End quote. WWE has done 2 huge tryouts in recent history. The company did a tryout in WrestleMania week, following which they did another major tryout during SummerSlam week. They brought in a lot of new talent. It shows that their plan is to consistently try as many people as they can. What is y'all's take on this story? Sound off in the live chat. or you can sound off in the comments below and stream it. That is all the AEW WWE news I got coming out of AEW Dynamite Grand Slam. I don't know what's wrong, man. Lately, I've been doing good. Now all of a sudden, I'm just getting stuff wrong. I gotta work on it a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I gotta work on it a little bit for real. But anyways, folks, getting the heck out of here, man. It's been a busy week for me, man. I've been live with the AEW Dark Elevation review. I was live with the AEW Dark review, or not review, but watch along. You guys know what I'm talking about. But this Tuesday afternoon, I was live with the AEW Dark Elevation watch along. Then this afternoon, today, I was live with the AEW Dark watch along. And then I was live for AEW Dynamite Grand Slam. We were live with that watch along. And then I went live and did the AEW Dynamite Grand Slam review for you guys. Just to see how good I'm doing my reviews so far. Like Cam Man says, keep pushing. What I'm doing, man. That is what I'm most importantly working on when it comes to my YouTube channel. You gotta worry about that. The more content I stream and upload, the more audience and the more subscribers I get on the channel. As long as I know what I'm doing with the channel, which I really do. In some way. I'm not gonna say in every way, but in some way. Some way, shape, or form. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, hit the thumbs up. Let's get at least 5 likes minimum on the stream. Hassan, you're kind of too late for the review. I'm already finished, but it's okay. You'll get a chance to be in the live chat Friday for my Friday Night SmackDown watch along and my AEW Rampage Grand Slam watch along. So, anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a good Thursday morning, afternoon, and night, wherever you may be. And I'll see you guys in the live chat for Friday Night SmackDown watch along. Hell, before that, I may even be streaming one of the new car racing games. So, you know what? You might as well see me in the live chat for that. I'll see you guys in the live chat for that. And Friday Night SmackDown watch along and the AEW Rampage Grand Slam watch along. I think this week's episode of Rampage is going to be better than the last 2 weeks. It's going to be better than last week's episode of Rampage and the other week before last. In other words, it's going to be better than both Rampage episodes. You know, the ones that were not delivered, that not produced right, the ones that were the both shows that just didn't deliver, man. You know, I mean, last week's Rampage was boring, man. I mean, JD said it himself on his podcast. It was boring, and I agree. It was boring. I watched it. It was boring. Same with this week's episode of Dark and Elevation. Both shows were boring, man. It was so bad, I had to skip all the matches on Dark, dude. Almost all the matches. Unreal. AEW has got to, it goes to show you right there that AEW's got to do better with their shows, man. They're slacking. They were doing good at first. Now they're kind of slacking a little bit. They got too many titles. They got too many talents on that roster. They got to fix a lot of things, man. Same goes for WWE. WWE shows need to get better, which they are so far. Monday Night Raw is being produced better than SmackDown. Can't argue with that. That's like me saying SmackDown's being produced better than Monday Night Raw and 2.0 combined. But anyways, guys, I will see you guys in the live chat for that game that I'll be streaming this Friday afternoon, and I'll see you guys in the live chat for the Friday Night SmackDown AEW Rampage live stream watch along. Don't forget, it's going to be a long watch along because I'm going to be live for both. All right, so it's going to be combined. You're going to see a lot of faces in the background, so be prepared for that. It's going to be a fun Friday weekend. All right. See you guys later. Stay safe always. See you guys in the live chat for Friday Night SmackDown Rampage. I'm out of here.